You're welcome back to Business Incorporated on Channels Television. Now let's take you to the commodities markets. Oil prices edged up on Tuesday ahead of the release of U.S. crude inventory data, which is in recent weeks has provided bullish surprises. But a flurry of top-level comments from OPEC members regarding chances of an output cut kept a lead on them. Adim Okwesa is a research analyst with the Financial Derivatives Company Limited, and he joins me from Lagos. Adim, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Now, the last is yet to be heard on issues around OPEC output cuts. Iran seems to be pulling out of the planned cut. What does this mean for OPEC, since Iran is the second largest producer of oil in that cartel?
Yes, Iraq. I think by Iraq saying that they will need to be exempted from any production cut, I think it just clouds the prospects of any agreements being successful on November 30th. And it just opens the door for more countries to come out and say they too need to be exempt. Countries like Venezuela and Angola, who are also facing some physical constraints and need to maximize their oil revenue. So I won't be surprised if we see more squabbles come up like this.
Now, a number of data are expected to be released in the energy market. So we have the private American Petroleum Institute is to publish its weekly crude stocks estimate, followed by the official Energy Information Administration data that is also due tomorrow. What are the expectations from these data?
Well, I think crude stocks, we expect an increase in U.S. crude stockpiles, because this is based on seasonal impact. Usually at this time of the year, there's usually a fall in demand for U.S. crude stockpiles, and that usually leads to higher crude stockpiles at this time of the year. So we expect an increase in U.S. crude stockpiles this week, but that wouldn't affect oil prices marginally. That wouldn't affect oil prices, really. We should see oil prices trade between 50 and 55 still.
Despite an increase in the inventory, oil prices may continue to be on an upward trend?
Yes, until that November 30th, unless there's a sharp spike in the dollar. We know the Fed are going to increase, they are likely to increase interest rates in December, but that is after the November 30th meeting. But the US elections, I'm guessing if a candidate like Hillary Clinton wins the election, that would boost the dollar. So that could affect oil prices.
Okay. Apart from the Fed rate hike, the possible rate hike, and of course the US elections in November, what else do you think may likely move the numbers for oil prices?
I think all eyes are on this November 30th minute, and it depends on what happens between now and then. I'm hearing talks that OPEC is talking to non-OPEC producers like Mexico, Norway, and Brazil to see if they can join the table to cut production. So if positive developments come from that, then that should support oil prices, and that would also increase the prospects of a deal actually taking place on November 30th.
Adim Okwesa, research analyst with the Financial Derivatives Company Limited. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
And Senegal's President Macky Sall officially opened Based-Senergy 2, a new 20-megawatt solar power plant in Bokol on the border with Mauritania. It follows from Senegal's COP21 commitment to cut greenhouse emission, and is one of at least 2 solar power plants projects in the country where residents and businesses suffer regular power cuts and high energy prices.
Senegal officially launched a new 20-megawatt solar power plant at the weekend in Boko, a town in the country's north. The project followed through on a COP21 commitment by Senegal's President Macky Sall to cut greenhouse gases. The 20-megawatt installation, known as Based-Senergy 2, is part of a 2 solar power plant project and is set to provide electricity to around 160,000 people and will feed into a network managed by the national electricity company Senegal. Greenwich, a Paris-based investment company focused on renewable energy in sub-Saharan Africa, developed and built the $28 million project. In his address at the launch, Sall said it was important to lower electricity prices and urged Senegal to think about the possibility of reducing electrical costs as early as January 2017.
From here in Bokor, I call on all partners who want to support us in the development of alternative energy. The best support you can give us in this area is to directly support the projects underway or those to come through grants that will make production costs even more competitive.
Greenwich CEO Charlotte Obi Kalajan said energy diversification was vital as raw materials become more and more volatile, adding that with the price of petrol decreasing, solar energy prices will be more competitive in the long term.
Every country needs to diversify its energy sources. In Senegal, solar power has its place. The amount of sunshine here is about 40 degrees right now and is double compared to what solar farm of the same capacity in England or in northern France would produce, and allows us to produce electricity at a competitive price.
Businesses such as international Italian frozen yogurt franchise Yogurdalia hope solar energy can ease the electricity challenges they face.
Electricity is vital. We cannot work without it. It's a must. And for a country to grow, evolve and build itself, it needs stable electricity.
Senegal is hoping to become an example for renewable energy in West Africa, a region that still lags behind in its development and use of the technology. Investors in renewable energy say that they want dependable cash flows. But in many African countries, weak legal frameworks, unclear land rights and poor transmission infrastructure make this hard to guarantee.
And Total, Glencore and Gonvo are bidding for a 75% stake in Chevron's South African downstream assets, which include a refinery. U.S. oil major Chevron said in January that it planned to sell 75% of its South African business, which includes 110,000 barrels a day refinery in Cape Town. And with that, we've come to the end of Business Incorporated. Many thanks for watching. We do appreciate your time with us on the program. I'm Bolaji Akinwale.